feels really good. Getting an early start today. This bow has been roughed out, shot a few times, tillered to weight and shape. Everything is ready to get her across the finish line. We are going to turn our attention at this point to our overlays at the riser section. So these are still in rough shape. We have water buffalo, tiger wood, and then hackberry. So sticking with the theme of the woods used in the remainder of this bow. There are so many great uses for blue tape. I'm gonna have to do a video that just lists everything I ever use this stuff for, because it's a lot. But putting it down right at the transition spot between our overlays and the fiberglass helps ensure that as we're milling this stuff out, if we have any overruns, we are first going to hit the tape. If at any point, whether we're using sanders, grinders, files, or sandpaper, or something along those lines, anything really, it will always eat into the tape first before your finished surface. Just going to get to work roughing this out. Now, probably going to do some initial removal on my spindle sander to make that happen. And notice right here, you can already see where my file got the tape, but you'll see right there, but it protected the edge of the fiberglass. That's the whole idea here. All right. Yeah, I decided to pull out the spindle sander to take these overlays down. Move the operation to outside because I am certain to get into the fiberglass wrap here, and so I need to be out in a ventilated area with my fan behind me to take care of any kind of dust that I may run into as we're getting into those areas. But here again, guys, easy does it. Really keep a sharp eye on what we've got going on in terms of wood removal. And I'm going to take the lower limb off while I work on the top. Okay, and the whole point here is to just get this, you know, kind of evened out so that we can come back with hand tools and not have to do a ton of removal to get those tapers going. So just a rough removal out here on the spindle sander, back into the garage to do some work with hand tools from there. Now to get started on that grip. Hey guys, I am anticipating a fair amount of fiberglass dust here. So I got my fan positioned right on the spindle, set at a high speed to try and spray everything away from my face. And then the inside for sure. Done with the spindle sander out there and taking down the grip area of this bow. You can see we're starting to refine all of the finishes and surfaces here, and really marching quickly toward final sanding and finishing. The arrow rest has been cut out, and really looking pretty sharp with the way the laminations went together with the Ipe, hackberry, and zebra wood in there. The takedown functionality is working really pretty well. There's no rattle in there at all, unless you hit it on the front to take it apart. But otherwise, it is in there good. Not a whole lot left to do with this bow. So what I'm gonna do is, in its current state, because we've taken the sleeve down pretty significantly, I wanna make sure that there aren't any weakness issues going on here, and that we still have a real sound sleeve for the shooting process. So I'm gonna string her up and have a little bit of fun. Raised the can. All right, both shooting pretty well as it stands. Still a little bit of reverb in the hand, and so I've marked out the tips of the bow, basically where the tip wedges start, and we're going to just round out what's going on down here in the outer extremities of these limbs. The whole idea here is just to take mass off at the most vulnerable place that it can be on a bow, and that is at the tips. So I'm just going to carefully remove, taking care to remove more out at the extreme tip and on back to the rest of the limb. So we want to make sure to maintain that taper going out to our tip. And I'll be doing this on both the bottom limb and the top limb. And then we'll shoot it some more. Well, I have run out of sunlight, and we are finished sanded down to a triple-aught steel wool there. So nice smooth finishes going on here. Sanding's the worst part, you know, and I'm actually feeling really pretty good about this bow. You know, the origins of this particular bow is my best hunting friend asked me to make one for him, and this would be it. Included a colleague of mine that has helped me in the past with fiberglass builds, and that would be Kenny's Custom Archery. He provided the fiberglass for this build. So guys, if you need materials and or advice, hit up Kenny. He's a great resource. I have put 5 coats of spar urethane on this bow now over the course of the last 2 days. This most recent coat has been allowed to dry now for 12 hours. So nice and cured. And for my final coat, we are going to put a very, very light sanding on this finishing, on this last coat of finish, so that when we spray on the final coat, it's going to have a really, really smooth application. Now, is a very, I can feel it. It's a very durable, thick, plasticky shell type finish on there. All right, I always wet the leather down to wet mold it and get it put onto the grips of the bows, whatever, when I'm working on them. So here's kind of the reveal on this one. And I use a gauze because if I use something else, it'll imprint the leather. You can see how everything fits real well. Here's our finished product right here. Everything goes together really well. Finish came out nice. Got string silencers, grip put on, all signed up. Dressed to the friend of mine for whom this bow was built. It finished out, and I just kept measuring it and measuring it. Kept trying to get that scale to tell me that it was 60 pounds, but it finished out at 58. So 58 pounds at 28 inches. When you figure we were trying to get somewhere between 55 and 60, I'd say we hit the mark. Very quiet. Shoots pretty well, although we're going to take her out and shoot her again here in just a second, because at this point, guys, that's all that's left to be done, is to shoot her in. So I don't think we're going to belabor it any longer. Let's go take some shots, and then guys, we'll get on with our next project for next week. So thanks for hanging in for this one.